I did it! I'm here! Welcome to Kuala Lumpur and the Petronas Towers. So from my one day here in Malaysia, what I've noticed so far is major contrasts. You have modern skyscrapers like this around wonderful amenities, an excellent park here called KLCC, and at the same time there's a lot of culture, so many temples, mosques and things like that. That's really what I think I want to focus on during my time here in Kuala Lumpur anyway. The range of cultures that are found here and how they seem to live side by side in peace with each other despite their differences. That kind of goes into the idea as well of having this wonderful modern architecture mixed with the traditional temples and such. So I love it. I love the mix of cultures. You can really see it in the food, and my next stop where I'm going today is a local market or a street where you can get lots of traditional food. But what is traditional Malaysian food? Is it Malay, Chinese, Indian? I've seen an awful lot of Middle Eastern food while I've been walking around as well. Shawarma, halal meats and things like that. Malaysia is predominantly Muslim and you can really get a sense of that here, but you know, all religions are embraced and accepted here, which is wonderful, and that's reflected in the food as well. So come with me, let's eat. So I'm here at the local market, Central Market. Upstairs there's a food court, and oh my god, this fan it's good. So I'm trying some local food, and this is something that's traditional to Malaysia, I think, or maybe it's Singapore, but it's quite a local dish anyway. It's laksa, and it's like a soup, like a curry soup, and it's got a bit of everything. There's shrimp or noodles, something like that in here. It's pretty good. Noodles. This looks like tofu. I'm gonna see what this is. It is tofu. Just what the doctor ordered, but you can get everything here. It's Chinese food. That bell. I think they might have heard you. There's Chinese food, Indian food, Malay food. That's all I can see here, but it is a great place to come. And I've heard that these kind of hawker centres or places where you can, you know, go and try different dishes are the best place to come in Kuala Lumpur, and that's why I'm here.
The food in Kuala Lumpur was truly incredible. From authentic Indian food to delicious Chinese dishes, there is something for everyone here.
I'm in Chinatown right now, and I'm standing outside a Taoist, a Buddhist Taoist temple called, sorry for butchering the pronunciation, Sin Si Siya Temple. I'm not sure if I can go inside. The gate is open. I just won't record now for a minute, but out of respect, I'm not sure. I've never seen a Taoist temple before, but I'm just walking around Chinatown and here it is. So let's see if I can go inside. People seem to be leaving apples as offerings, which is very interesting, and you could buy apples, I think, for an offering. So yeah, like nothing I've ever seen before, but I loved it. I want to go home and learn more about it. 2 minutes down the road and I found another temple. It looks incredible. Wow, and 2 minutes down the street from that amazing Buddhist temple we have Sri Maria Man, I think. Oh god, I'm probably butchering that. The oldest Hindu temple in Kuala Lumpur. Wow, not sure if you can go inside. I know anytime I've been in Hindu countries before, you cannot go inside if you're not Hindu, but I'm definitely going to check this out. This is probably the most incredible building I've ever seen in my life. It's just there. Looks like it's closed, unfortunately, but I can see that this temple, there's a little sign about it there, was initially opened in 1873 for a private family, and then it was opened to the public in 1920, so it's not actually that old. I guess Hinduism isn't around too long in Malaysia, but it's pretty prominent now. That's not to say that Hinduism is relatively new here in Malaysia. It's not. It actually predates Islam, but the part of it that we see now is mostly for migrant workers, so Islam would have wiped the majority of Hinduism out when it first arrived here.
So many of the Hindus here in Kuala Lumpur today are migrant workers who came from Tamil Nadu, from that region of India. They make up just over 6% of the population of Malaysia, but over 8% of the population here in Kuala Lumpur, which is why it's more prevalent. I guess most migrant workers would come to the capital city. But yeah, Islam is much bigger here in Kuala Lumpur. It has about 63% of the population is Muslim, and interestingly, you cannot be considered Malay unless you are Muslim, so that could be why it's so high. On Petaling Street, I came across a Buddhist ceremony. I was intrigued. This mosque behind me here, Jamek Mosque, is one of the oldest here in Kuala Lumpur. It was built in 1909. And as I've already said, Islam is the predominant religion here in Malaysia. It is the official religion. 63% of Malaysians consider themselves Muslim. But here in Kuala Lumpur, it's more like 40%, so there's more of a mix here. Of course, it being the capital city, it is more multicultural than other parts of Malaysia, and it's also the only part of the country to have a significant non-religious community. There's about 6% of people here in Kuala Lumpur are atheists, whereas in Malaysia as a whole, it's like 0.2, 0.3. It's not really accepted here to not have a religious belief, but again, all religious beliefs are celebrated. You know, Christmas is celebrated here, Ramadan, Eid, and all the others. Vazak recently became a national holiday as well, which is a Buddhist festival. So it's wonderful to see. So I'm going to go see if we can check out the mosque now. Well, I did manage to get in. It's free, you just have to register, and luckily I was carrying this around anyway, just in case I needed to cover up for anything. But I think they do give you a spare hijab or something like that if you don't have one. I did need help putting it on. Didn't know how to do that. But yeah, here we are now, Jamek Mosque, one of the oldest mosques in the city. It's very beautiful, I have to say. So that was interesting. You can go inside, you just have to take off your shoes, and it was just cool to see. There are people lying on the floor, sleeping, taking a nap. It is the middle of the day and it's roasting, and yeah, it was simple. There wasn't a huge amount of art or anything like that. It wasn't very ornate, but beautiful to see all the same. Very different to other mosques that I've been in Turkey and Bosnia and things like that, but yeah, I'm glad I went in. Really interesting. Another part of the culture here, a big part of the culture here in Kuala Lumpur. Well, it looks like today I can visit a Hindu temple. I'm a little bit on the late side. I moved into a hostel today and it took far longer than I expected to actually get to it. Public transport here is tough, and it is not a walkable city, Kuala Lumpur, apart from the heat, the humidity, the size. I put on in Google Maps and it was like 16-minute walk. Now I did have my big backpack, but I was like, oh okay, I'll try that. The footpaths here, it's just not walking friendly. The roads don't allow for you to cross easily, and it's very difficult. But enough of that, because look behind me here. This is the temple that I'm going to try and visit today. So I managed to get inside anyway. You just need 10 minutes in there, 15 is plenty. You know, it's quite small inside, you look around, and my God, is it peaceful. It's very spiritual, absolutely, and definitely well worth a visit. Oh. Definitely well worth a visit if you're here in Kuala Lumpur, especially if you're interested in different religions, different cultures. This particular temple is called Sri Kandaswamy, and it's one of the rare examples here of a Sri Lankan temple. This actually was built by workers from Sri Lanka who've come to the area. So yesterday I was exploring Chinatown. Today I'm going to be exploring Little India here in the neighbourhood of Brickfields. So far I like what I see. It reminds me very much of my time in Nepal. I haven't been to India, but Nepal culturally would be very similar, apart from the Apart from those high-rise buildings, you know, but on the ground level everything looks good. I'm looking forward to trying some good Indian food and just seeing what little India has to offer here. Of course, the Christian church, like the one right behind me here, is very prevalent in Kuala Lumpur as well, and in Malaysia. About 9% of the population here are Christian, predominantly Catholic, since the Portuguese were the first European colonisers here in the 15th century, and then a century later the Dutch invaded. They brought Protestantism with them, and so it's a bit of a mix, but mostly Catholicism, although I'm not as interested in seeing churches like this. I can see that at home. I'm here for the temples, I'm here for the mosques, something a little bit different. I am here today visiting one of Southeast Asia's largest temples. This is Tian Hao Temple. It's a Chinese temple, and we're going to learn a little bit more about it now. It's free to go in, but a word of warning. I am drenched in sweat because I walked here, and you can walk from Little India. It's not too far, 20-25 minutes Google Maps says, but Google Maps does not show you hills. It's up a very steep hill. It's 32 degrees today. It's not a day for climbing. Get a taxi. I don't know what aversion I have to taxis. I like to walk. I like to explore new places myself. I like to take public transport if that's available. The public transport here is only okay, but it's all worth it when you get to see this incredible temple. Chinese culture is so important here in Kuala Lumpur because Kuala Lumpur itself was actually founded, the city, by 87 Chinese men who were working in the tin industry here. Tin and rubber were the big industries. Tin brought the Chinese in the 1800s, and the rubber plantations brought the Indians a little bit later. And to this day, it is the Chinese who hold power in government, administration, and Indians, I guess, have a little less status to this day. That's something I didn't realise before coming here to Kuala Lumpur. This is incredible. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. So that was my whistle-stop tour of the mix of cultures in Kuala Lumpur. Did anything stand out to you? Did anything surprise you? If so, feel free to leave a comment below. See you in the next place.